$15,000 fines going into effect in New York City. $15,000 fine for violations of social distancing protocols. Right? Not allowed to have these group gatherings anymore. Now, this is really all focused around right now. They're calling them hot spots. They were going to have zip code by zip code, but now it's just areas on a map. And the areas are generally thought to be overlapping with or largely, the correlation is very strong with the Orthodox Jewish community, specifically the Hasidic community of Brooklyn and Queens. And so this has become a big religious issue, in fact, or religious freedom issue. And there were protests earlier in the week where you had Hasidim who had gathered together. Producer Mark, is that the correct plural?
I believe so.
Hasidim, right? Yeah. You had them gathering together and just basically saying, we're not playing by these rules anymore. We're going to start having religious services again. This is crazy. And sure enough, the NYPD was there, and they didn't make arrests, but they're threatening now to sue them. Cuomo was out there saying, look, these are the rules. You got to listen to the rules. Play 23.
The cluster is a predominantly ultra-Orthodox cluster. The Catholic schools are closed because they happen to be in that cluster. But the issue is with that ultra-Orthodox community. This is not a matter of religious freedom, right? I don't care if you're Roman Catholic, you're Jewish, you're Muslim, you're an atheist. You have to follow the rules of the state, the laws of the state. And I understand the beliefs of the ultra-Orthodox. I've been very close to them all my life. I'm a big supporter of theirs, but they have to follow the rules, Jim, because we're seeing the truth. And the truth is, if you don't follow the rules, the infection rate spreads, people get sick, and then you make others sick. We're talking about Brooklyn. We're not talking about a hermetically sealed community in a rural area. This is in the middle of Brooklyn. They will make other people sick.
Okay. Here's the issue that I have. I mean, I have many issues with Cuomo, but notice how he says, you have to obey the law. You have to obey the rules of the state. We are in an extended emergency powers declaration for Governor Cuomo. He can do whatever. He can shut down whatever businesses he wants. He can do whatever he wants to do, basically. But there's a problem with that because we also have a constitution. We have a federal government. We have the supremacy of the Constitution and the federally guaranteed rights for every American in every state. They can't have an indefinite shutdown on your right to peaceably assemble, an indefinite shutdown on your right to practice your religion. That is what is going on here. And what are they holding this up against? What is the metric they're using? A zero risk tolerance? We don't have that for so many things in life. Why would we have this all of a sudden? Not all of a sudden, we've had it for many months, but why would we continue to accept this with regard to these COVID lockdowns? COVID lockdowns that have not worked. Europe now has more cases than America per capita. That's right. European countries spiking. I guess Trump didn't tell them that it was necessary to wear a mask in time, or I guess that maybe they're all Trump supporters, and so they have a problem with masking up because it's a patriotic thing to do. Or maybe that we've forgotten this thing spreads just like the common cold. Just like the common cold in the air. Have we ever thought we'd be able to just not ever get colds anymore with, basic sanitary procedures? No one's ever really thought that. But we believe that we can completely shut this down with 100% compliance from people that involves not interacting with other human beings and not being able to breathe air normally. Okay. Sounds like a really bad idea to me. It doesn't sound very sciencey to me, but that's what we're told. $15,000 fine. There's also now data. We've had 2 months. He mentioned schools, and they're shutting down schools in those cluster areas. But a lot of cities never open schools. They're all doing this virtual learning thing. And first of all, that doesn't work. We know that doesn't work. It's a disaster. It's actually the biggest drawback for minority and underprivileged and low-income family children. They're the ones hurt the most by this. They're the ones that statistically are going to have going to suffer the most in terms of their development, falling behind. But we were told that it was because schools were going to be so dangerous for this. Well, some places have had schools open for 2 months, and colleges in some areas of the country have been open for 2 months in person. And you know what? The people who were saying, and I think it's worth stepping back and revisiting this for a second. There in August was a whole panic to keep the schools closed in advance of the election. This was very politically driven in my mind, although there were people who were just freaked out. But this was politically driven because they understood if schools are closed, it drags down the economy. It also makes people perceive the country as in a bad place and sick. Now we have the numbers. And without question, schools are safe to be open. Colleges are safe to be open. Anybody who's in a high-risk category should be allowed to stay. Adults, not children. Children are fine. It is safe. It's not perfectly safe, but school's never been perfectly safe. Children die from the flu every year. More children this year in America have died from the flu than from COVID. That's a fact. So why are the schools closed? Nobody even thinks to ask anymore. Hey, Team Buck, thank you so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you like this video, please click that little thumbs up button so then it will log as liked. And also, if you want to see more great content from The First, please click subscribe.